Book looks at the life story of one of the first black jockeys. We're talking about Writing for America. That book is now the subject of a special presentation at the Wayfair Theaters in Highland Park. And joining me now is Nancy Hayes, the author and screenwriter of Writing for America. So Nancy, what inspired you to write a novel, and there it is right there, to write that novel and create a theatrical production and musical program about Isaac Murphy and his mother, America?
I'm inspired by Isaac Burns Murphy, who was the Michael Jordan of the 1880s. And his character, he was more than an athlete. He was an inspiration, particularly to American youth, because he was a man of great integrity. He was well-read. He was well-respected. He honored his parents. And he's just the perfect, most wonderful American hero. And I want everyone to know about him. And my son, actually, Edward Heffernan, Eddie, he is the main writer of the screenplay, and I worked alongside him, and I adapted that screenplay into this book. And then we have another adaptation with the Chicago Public Schools and Wayfair Theaters that we're doing on Sunday.
You know what, I want to get to that in a second, but also tell me why his mother's story is so important too.
America Murphy sacrificed so much for her son, and she taught him how to read, which helped him to escape some of the terrible things that slavery, of course, imposed on his life and his family's life. And his mother, in the story, in the screenplay, it's written like The Godfather Part 2, where you see her story and you see his story, and you understand why he grew up to be such a man of great character and such an inspiration because of the sacrifices of his parents, which I think is really important. So yeah, his mother's life is just as important because she's a hero too.
So Nancy, what are some of Isaac's greatest sports achievements, and what is his relationship to the city of Chicago?
He achieved 3 Kentucky Derbies, 4 of the first 5 American Derbies, which we're all in Chicago at Washington Park, the great roundhouse designed by Daniel Burnham. That was the stables where Isaac Murphy, much like Michael Jordan, achieved 4 of the first 5 American Derbies. He also won the first photo finish in American sports history, which was a match race between a black and a white rider. And he was the first jockey inducted into the Hall of Fame, but few people know that.
Truly
Sadly.
The Michael Jordan of jockeys. You know, when is the performance tomorrow, or I should say this special presentation, and what can guests expect to see, and who else that's part of your creative team is going to be part of this performance at the Wayfair?
Well, thanks to Freedom Hall in Park Forest, who obtained an Illinois Arts grant, which allowed me to hire fabulous actors and a playwright named Jasmine Pryor, who has taken and adapted from the book some of the scenes and dramatized them. And Eldridge Shannon, who's also a professional athlete, he's a wrestler and a personal trainer, portrays Isaac. And then mixed in with that, we have cinematography from the fantastic award-winning Stefan Mazurek. And it's a multi-image presentation. It's about 30 minutes long, and then there's an actor talkback and a book signing. But if it wasn't for Freedom Hall, the Illinois Arts Grant, and then this fantastic playwright and actress, Jasmine Pryor, who is now right at the Black Repertory Theater in St. Louis, but she's flying back in just for Sunday. So I really hope folks will come and see that. And I've written the music, most of the music that is part of this presentation. So it's really a unique experience to combine cinematography and combine dramatic presentation and songs. And I do want to thank Wayfair Theaters because they are an incredibly unique cinema complex that lifts up voices, very purposeful storytelling, and they're doing something very unique with this program.